Hi, it's Christina with the Sisyphean Journal. Now that I know that you can listen to things that I'm listening to, I'm going to listen to Karlyn Borysenko's rant about why the pro-abortion movement makes people pro-life. So let's fire this up.
Being white and being a woman is an asset that allows me access and a certain level of facility and comfort with these folks.
This is not Karlyn speaking. This is Karlyn playing a video by Amy Littlefield, who is a pro-abortion socialist.
And just doing deep listening and trying to understand.
Deep listening, exactly, Amy, exactly. Deep listening.
It's going to be a narrative project. It's going to focus on a couple of anti-abortion folks and tracing them through these pivotal moments I outlined, starting with the Hyde Amendment and really studying that as the first massive failure on the pro-choice side, the first.
Okay, so she's talking about the Hyde Amendment, and this is something where I have a hard time telling which abortion advocates are ignorant and which ones are lying. When the Hyde Amendment came down, the Hyde Amendment was to prevent spending federal money on elective abortions. The states were still allowed to fund abortions, which California does. California has now decided that they're an abortion sanctuary state, and you can come in from Botswana and they'll give you a free abortion. You don't even have to be an American. The taxpayers of California have such a fetish about abortion that they'll pay for anybody's abortion, but that's state money, not federal money. And the abortion rights activists just pitched a hissy fit about how there was going to be a coat hanger impaled woman on every front lawn. And they were all set up to prove that this was just going to be horrible, deadly. And they did get their dead woman, Rosie Jimenez, and they dragged her around, like a cat dragging a dead mouse around. Not literally, but I mean just her story. But I'll link below to the story about how she was pretty much set up to die. The abortion rights movement made sure that everybody knew that there was going to be no more funding for elective abortions from the government, but they didn't make sure that everybody knew that there were, certainly didn't let them know there were pregnancy resource centers available all over the place. That's like crossing garlic to a vampire, to an abortion advocate. Now I'm not talking pro-choice people like Karlyn. I think Karlyn probably would be in favor of these pro-life pregnancy centers where women go in, they get free ultrasounds, they get hooked up with whatever their needs are to get their needs met. But the abortion rights movement, the abortion rights organizations, like I said, that is garlic and crosses to a vampire. They cannot stand the idea that a woman might find solutions to her problems rather than climb on the abortion table. But they didn't even let women know about sliding scale abortions and cheap abortions. And Rosie Jimenez could have gotten an abortion at a Planned Parenthood for $5 more than what she paid for the illegal abortion that killed her. But the abortion rights movement was very careful that women were not, that information was not widespread because they needed a corpse. Meanwhile, the Centers for Disease Control wanted to prove that women are dying in droves on account of this. And they did a study, and what they actually found was they compared the hospitalization rate for abortion complications for Medicaid-eligible women in the states that picked up the tab themselves for elective abortions, and the ones that if there's no more federal money, there's no more money. And they found out that the hospitalization rates for complications remained constant in those states that picked up the tab, places like California, where it's like, well, if the feds won't pay for abortions, we will. But states like Texas, where it's like, well, if the feds aren't going to pay for it, pay for it yourself. The admission rate for abortion complications among Medicaid-eligible women actually fell. And there was no increase in pregnancy complications. So actually cutting off funding benefited these women. They not only were not having as many abortions, but the ones that were having abortions were not getting injured at a higher rate. So the Hyde Amendment, they still hate it with the white-hot intensity of 1,000 suns, even though it lowered, when you take away government funding of abortion, it lowers the number of Medicaid-eligible women who wind up in the hospital with abortion complications without producing excess babies, because the women are a lot more careful about birth control if they know they can't just get a free abortion. And this is Kristen Luker with Abortion and the Decision Not to Contracept. That's been well documented. So let's continue with what this woman has to say.
Major victory on the anti-abortion side. And I'm just trying to understand this question of like how they won. Right? Like,
she's totally bewildered as to how they won. It's because most people don't want to pay for your abortion, and you can see this bewilders her. She doesn't get, there's a Second Amendment, but we do not ask other people to buy our firearms for us.
Because of you.
My working title for this project was like how we lost everything, and then I was like, that's not, no one's gonna buy that. I don't even want to buy that. But I think,
Amy, we talked about this at the beginning. Okay, I know you're not actually here with me today, and I know you're...
Okay, so this is Karlyn's voice you're hearing now. Karlyn's responding.
Recorded this a month ago, and so we can overlook the fact that you really don't understand how they won. They won because of people like you. They won because you guys decided that safe, legal, and rare was not good enough. They won because you guys decided to shout your abortion.
Okay, so Karlyn's got a point in that the whole shout your abortion and safe and legal, yes, rare, no, alienates people. But the shout your abortion is long after the Hyde Amendment. The Hyde Amendment was even before they started the safe, legal, and rare mantra. So the Hyde Amendment was, I think, in 1977. It was quite a while ago. But Karlyn still makes good points. They just did not have any effect on the Hyde Amendment getting passed.
That's why they won. It is really not that hard to understand. As turned off as I am by the pro-life movement, and that's pretty severe, I'll tell you that, I am also equally as turned off by the I can't even call you pro-choice anymore, because it's not even about choice. It is about, you guys are celebrating abortion. You guys are baking cakes celebrating abortion. You guys are, I have seen pro-abortion activists wear earrings with dead babies and have t-shirts with dead babies celebrating abortion and saying, I'm going to have 6 or 7 more of them. Like, that's, Amy, that turns a lot of people off. And I say that as someone who is pro-choice.
And this is why people like Karlyn are my target audience. And I'm glad to see people like Karlyn really wrapping their heads around how extreme the abortion rights movement really is. They're not a pro-choice movement. They are a pro-abortion movement. Karlyn, if you want a movement that supports what you believe, you've got to start something completely different, because you're not going to find it in abortion advocacy groups.
It is profoundly disturbing to me to hear you guys celebrate abortion at 8 or 9 months when there is not a medical reason to do so. That just seems a little inhumane to me. It seems like we've lost our way. Safe, legal, and rare? I can get behind that, bro. I can't.
Karlyn, the safe, legal, and rare, you've already got that they've scrapped the rare, right? They also scrapped the safe, and I've talked about that before. If there's anything else that is, to the abortion rights people as powerful as garlic and crosses against a vampire, it's abortion safety. These are the people that enabled Kermit Gosnell. Okay, we're talking people knew that untrained staff were administering massive doses of dangerous narcotics when there was no equipment on site and nobody trained on site. to deal with it if these women stopped breathing. There wasn't a doctor on site. Flea-infested cats roaming around and crapping on the floors. The state knew about this, and because they were pro-abortion, they let it go. And not only did Karnamaya Mongar and Shamika Shaw pay for that callousness with their lives, but the grand jury concluded that Gosnell and his staff probably delivered alive thousands of viable babies that could have lived if they'd been taken to the hospital, and killed them by severing their spinal cords with surgical scissors. And this is all because to the abortion people, abortion is all that matters. The dead baby is a good thing, not a tragic necessity. The dead baby is actually a good thing, and the dead mother is just the price she paid to get all those dead babies.
But this craziness where you guys are having at-home bathroom abortions that then culminate with you worshiping yourself in front of a spiritual shrine, which is not a shrine about worshiping the child. It is a shrine about you worshiping yourself.
Yep, you nailed it, Karlyn. It's a cult of self-worship.
After you have your at-home bathroom abortion and you have bled and expelled the product of conception into the toilet, after you take the pill that first kills the baby and then the second pill which expels the baby, it's a little bit much, Amy. The spiritual shrine aspect of it was really, really disturbing. And I say that as someone who has crystals on my desk. I have crystals. I have woo-woo stuff on my desk. I don't want you guys bastardizing my spiritual beliefs in order for you guys to have a worship of abortion spiritual ceremony after having given yourself a bathroom abortion. I don't think I'm asking too much. The reason the pro-life movement won is because you guys pushed everyone over to that side that was in the safe, legal, and rare camp, because to you, that was not good enough. I may be working out some feelings here. I hope everyone's okay with that.
Kudos to you, Karlyn. Yay. We need an entire movement of pro-choice people like Karlyn, who it's not, you know, with the safe, legal, and rare. Safe is optional. Rare is anathema. Legal is the only thing that matters. And I think Karlyn's catching on to that. And I want to see people who are more like Karlyn. Okay?